Heavy flood has once again hit Accra, Ghana. Houses were lost, businesses were lost, and most people even lost their lives. But then, President John Mahama's response was fast and swift. Welcome to Solid Finance Podcast, where we bring you finance and economic updates of things that are happening in Africa and the world at large. On today's episode, we'll be talking about the flood that just happened in Ghana. So on 29th of June 2026, there was heavy rainfall in Ghana, and then this caused a very serious flood. Houses were lost, businesses were lost, and then we could see videos of people struggling for their lives. But then the president's response was fast. He quickly sent response and help to the people of Accra. Videos were speculating online where a woman was ranting that shame on Ghana, that Ghana is 70 years old since they got their independence, and then up until today they don't have a good infrastructure. And she was just ranting about the whole flood issue. People are dead. How many people have to die before the government will be able to take action about their infrastructure? Now, she failed to understand that Ghana was colonized by the British Empire, and then the four walls of Ghana, it was built by the British men. So if there should be any restructuring, this is going to take another 20 years, and it will need a lot of funds. So away from that, I would like to look at President John Mahama's response to Joy News.
We just finished an aerial tour of Accra to inspect the flooded areas. Unfortunately, the flooding has been very extensive today for several reasons. There's climate. If you look at the rainfall pattern from 2024, 2025, 2026, you see that increasingly every year we're getting more rain.
You could see how much he loves his people. Now, you would expect that as a president, he would stay in the comfort of his home and then watch the news from TV. But no, he came out with his security team, and then he went with a helicopter. He went and then he was inspecting the area in Accra that was flooded. He mentioned in his speech that this is the highest rainfall pattern since 2015. In June 2024, about 85 volume of rain was recorded. Then in 2025, 172 volume of rain was recorded. Then 2026, 333 volume was recorded. That is like tripling the amount that they had initially last year. That's to tell you that the water wave has not balanced properly yet. Let's continue.
We just finished an aerial tour of Accra to inspect the flooded areas. Unfortunately, the flooding has been very extensive today for several reasons. One, the recorded rainfall today is one of the highest in several years. The Meteo are looking at approximately 140 millimeters that was dumped on Accra. Last year, the maximum rainfall was 56 on a single day, and so the volumes are much higher. And so there are many issues to the flooding in Accra. There's climate. If you look at the rainfall pattern from 2024, 2025, 2026, you see that increasingly every year we're getting more rain in Accra than we used to get. GMET say that in 2024, for a period of 30 days in June, we had 85 millimeters of rain. And then in 2025, it increased to 172. And then in 2026, for the same 30-day period in June, it increased to 333. And so the waterways are not getting a chance to recover before more rain is dumped. And the wet days are more. Out of 30 days, 22 days, it kept raining. And so there were only 7 dry days or 8 dry days in June. And so
I just love the fact that he did not try to sugarcoat anything. He came straight at it. It was like he has acknowledged the fact that this flood was caused as a result of an infrastructural problem. He has noticed that they don't have a lot of drainage systems in South Africa. Also made mention of them planning to break down some houses so they can fix proper drainage system. He says that once the government say that they want to break down a house, and then people just go out and say, oh, the government is heartless, the government is this, they're not compensating us well, but then they forget, if they don't break down these houses or take out these buildings and put proper drainage system, flood will still continue in Accra.
Atlantic. So that's an engineering problem. We need to see how to open the channel so that the water can pass. But then there's also the other aspect, which is attitudinal and human behavior. That is dumping garbage in the drains, you know, putting all kinds of items in the drains after we finish creating waste instead of sending it to the appropriate place. Even in the air, we discovered many illicit dumping sites where the wetlands are. People have gone to create a waste dumping ground, and they charge 20 cedis for the aboboya to come and fill the waste into the wetlands. And when it has filled sufficiently, they sell the land to people to come and build on it. And so we need to, one, look at it from an engineering perspective in terms of how we can open up the channels, but at the same time, look at how we can identify all the buildings that are obstructing the waterways. We've said this many times, I'm tired of hearing it, but anytime you begin to take action and you start breaking houses, people think that government is inhumane.
According to the City Newsroom's newspapers, it was recorded that about 10 to 12 people lost their lives during the flood, and then 500 people were rescued. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has confirmed that 10 people have died so far in the greater Accra region following the heavy rainfall and flooding that hit parts of the capital on Monday, June 29th. According to the organization, rescue operations are still ongoing as reports of additional casualties continue to emerge from several affected communities. Speaking to City News on Tuesday, June 30th, the Greater Accra Regional Director of NADMO, Dennis Adjano Nate, said latest fatalities included 2 persons discovered in Weja Gbawe municipality after floodwaters began to recede. This information was also confirmed by the Minister of Interior. At least 12 people have been confirmed dead and 7 others are still missing, following devastating floods that swept through Greater Accra and other parts of the country on Monday, June 29th. Alhaji Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, the Minister for the Interior, disclosed the figure to Parliament in Accra on Tuesday during an update on the disaster. Like I said earlier, this flood is not just a Ghana thing, and that's because of poor drainage system. And then human beings also are a factor to this, because tell me why you have a dustbin and they will have a refuse dump and then you decide to dump it in your gutter or on a part of the road. Every season, whenever we see flood, we always act surprised, like we don't know what is the reason for the flood. We know that what we are doing is not good, but because there are weak enforcement, nobody's taking any legal actions. President John Mahama has given a very solid response. He has said that they have to break down some buildings to clear the path for this water to pass through it. The rain may be natural, but the disasters can actually be controlled. It depends on how the government will take it. Hopefully, what has happened in Ghana is going to be a turning point to other African countries that have drainage problem. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do well to like, do well to share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tali Finance Podcast, for more finance content like this. Until next time, bye for now.